What is going on, guys? And welcome back to This Week in Tiger Baseball. I'm going back to my recent vintage of style of making my longer videos because apparently in my last video, 15 minutes of me is just not enough for you guys. I know 15 minutes of me is enough for me, but apparently, I asked and you guys said you like the longer videos where I break down everything more in depth and not just paraphrase as much as I did in my last video, even though I killed 14 minutes there pretty quick. So let's jump right on into it. This week, the Tigers ended up finishing off their series with Kansas City and then opened up a series with Minnesota. It was a short week, not many games played this week. So let's jump right on into it. Friday night a week from today, Yordano Ventura went up against David Price in a good matchup. Even though Ventura hasn't been pitching that well, I would know. I have him on my fantasy squad. That little punk hasn't been pitching well at all. Thanks, Texas Rangers, for knocking him around the other night. And Price goes against Ventura. So let's go to the second inning of this game. And Ventura gives up 4 runs in the second inning. You're thinking, man, is he going to get knocked around again? And, he just looks absolutely awful. He's getting hit up. And then what happens? The very next inning, David Price comes out and he gives up 4 runs. And Salvi Perez is this game. Guys, I love the Tigers. You guys, obviously, I love the Tigers. But the Royals got going on with that squad. You look at my fantasy team. I got Kendrys Morales. I got Eric Hosmer, I got Lorenzo Cain, and I got Yordano Ventura all on my squad. They have a really, really good young team. And, old Royals teams of years past, they would have just rolled over and died. Now, this Royals team, too, was minus Mike Moustakas and Greg Holland. And they came out and they laid a 4 spot on David Price, tied the game. That's where this game stayed, 4-4 for a good chunk of it. Royals went ahead temporarily, 5-4, the Tigers tied it. So let's fast forward to the 9th inning of this game. Anthony Ghost gets on and advances on a throwing error to second base. Kinsler goes to drop down a bunt to get Ghost over to third. Pinto, who is on the mound, throws the ball away. Ghost scores easily. The Tigers walk off. Awesome win. I was pumped. So the first walk-off on the week, Ian Kinsler. It doesn't have a home run yet, but that's walk-off win number 1 for Ian Kinsler. So we go to game 2 here. And Anibal Sanchez coming into this game had pitched very well his last couple of starts out. I already hinted at the mechanical changes that him and Jeff Jones work on to get him back to normal a couple of times, previous videos. But going into this game, he had an ERA sub, 140 lifetime against the Royals. Pure domination. They couldn't have figured him out since he's come to the Tigers. Well, this game, they figured him out. My boy Sanchez only goes 6 innings, 9 hits, 6 runs, 5 earned runs. And, yeah, he was not very good at this game. And in this game, Ricky Nolasco pitched for the Twins. Or not Ricky Nolasco, but that's the Twins, my bad. This game, Jeremy Guthrie pitched against Anibal Sanchez. And it was the first time all year Jeremy Guthrie has allowed less than 3 runs in a start. So it goes to show you how really mediocre Jeremy Guthrie's been. And last time they faced Jeremy Guthrie in Kansas City, they destroyed him. But it wasn't the case today. Tigers got a couple of runs later in the game. Guthrie, set him down. And this game, it's a really unmemorable game. Sanchez just did not look good, and I was at work listening to this game on the radio, so I didn't get to really watch and really dive into the full experience since it was kind of hit and miss for me listening on the radio. I hate listening. I love Dan Dickerson and Jim Price to do a great call, but listening on the radio, it's really hard to get a sense of what's going on the field. I mean, Dan Dickerson paints a great picture with his voice, but I need to watch it to let it all soak in. And this game, that's all I can. It was a memorable game, and it was his first clunker on a couple of starts. But boy, would he make up for it this week. So the Twins came into town on an off day. Tigers had an off day on Monday, and the Twins came into town on Tuesday. And what a great game this was! The first game of the series. Oh, my mistake. I'm skipping a game. Third game of the series. Sunday night baseball game. Sunday night baseball primetime. So Shane Green comes out. First inning, Alex Gordon doubles off him, and we're thinking, oh, man, here we go again. But no, Green comes out, throws down 8 miraculously strong innings. And it was nuts because ESPN was talking about his swings and misses. Because like I was saying last time, last year he was a strikeout per inning guy. He was a guy who was striking out 9 hitters per nine innings. This year, strikeout rate is really low. He didn't get a swing and miss on any of his pitches until his 43rd pitch of the game. That's how much he's pitching to contact this year and not trying to strike guys out. He would end up getting a couple of strikeouts, a couple in succession, actually. But Green was absolutely marvelous. And Chris Young, yet again, comes out. And I did not know this, but Chris Young, I think, has like the 2nd or 3rd lowest opponent's batting average in the major leagues with a minimum 1,000 innings pitched over the last 4 years. It's nuts how people don't hit this guy. And it's something with, the deception of his delivery, they were saying, the way, the ball comes out of his hand because he's a big, lanky guy, how close he is to the plate. But it was nuts. So this game was just absolutely brutal at the end. So I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's like 12 o'clock. I'm sitting on my bed, and I'm like, all right, don't fall asleep. Don't fall asleep. Because this game goes in the rain delay going into the 9th inning. I'm like, don't fall asleep. Well, as they're pulling the tarp off the field, it's like close to 1. I'm like, damn it. I end up falling asleep. Highlights. The Tigers in the bottom of the 9th load the bases. Nobody out. And they don't score. James McCann ends up flying out to end the inning. In the 10th, they load the bases. And they don't score. And they end up losing this game 2-1. They couldn't get one hit with runners in scoring position. And one at a time, because the biggest controversy in this game was Brad Ausmus took out Miguel Cabrera for a pitch runner in the 9th after he got intentionally walked after he got walked to get put on, and he put Rajai Davis out on first. Well, Cabrera's spot happened to come up in the 10th inning with the bases loaded, no one out, and Hernan Perez was up. Well, Perez hits into a 5-2-3. I believe it is at third base to home to first, a 5-2-3 double play, and then Cespedes, I believe, strikes out after that. Now, here's the thing. People were chastising Brad Ausmus, and I've chastised Brad Ausmus too, but I'm going to defend him a little bit here. That move to take Miguel Cabrera out was a win or go home, die or win all type of move. Well, you don't take out a former Triple Crown winner and MVP. Look. He put Davis out there because Miguel Cabrera, it's going to take a couple of base knocks to score him. He put Rajai Davis out there because you got the Tigers, a top 3 stolen base team in the big leagues. You put him out there, you try to steal a base, get him in the get him in the scoring position. One hit takes it, and you win the ball game. The fact that Cabrera was taken out is irrelevant. Now, look, I understand you want Miguel Cabrera up in the 10th. But if you score in the 9th when you got the bases loaded, it doesn't matter. He took the shot. He took Cabrera out for Rajai Davis. You could honestly make the same case, reverse it. You don't take out Miguel Cabrera. You leave him in. Say they hit a ball in the gap. V-Mart hits a ball in the gap. V-Mart's going to have a single no matter where it's at. Unless that shit's going to the wall, because that guy can't run for anything right now. Hits the ball in the gap. Cabrera gets thrown out at home because he wasn't fast enough to score from first, even though it was a deep gap shot that Rajai Davis could run backwards. Doing the Don Baylor spin thing when he hit the home run with the Red Sox against the Angels. He could sit there and run backwards around the bases because he's that fast and pass Miguel Cabrera. So say Cabrera gets thrown out at home. Then you'd have people going, well, why didn't Brad Ausmus pitch run for Miguel Cabrera when he reached base in the 9th inning? Because that hit, that V-Mart or JD or Cespedes, blah, blah, blah hit, Davis would have waltzed home on. So we're going to work the same way. Yeah, it sucks you had to have Hernan Perez up there. But Ausmus took the shot. It didn't work. Too bad. I don't think he should have got chastised for that. I don't think he should have. Because honestly, like I said, he took the shot. It didn't work. It could be played the same exact way. Cabrera gets thrown out at home. If you pinch run for Rajai would make it in his sleep twice on Sundays, you'd have been saying the same thing. Why wasn't he pinch run for? So controversial. You end up losing. But you know something? If you get one goddamn base hit in the 9th and 10th, it's over with. So too bad. Now we can move on to the Minnesota Twins, since I can't even remember where the hell I'm freaking at with these damn things. So Alfredo Simon and Kyle Gibson go up against one another. Kyle Gibson's a guy that if you don't hit him in the first 3 innings of the ball game, he's a guy that just for some reason is just really nasty afterwards. And this was the best start I've ever seen out of Kyle Gibson. I didn't realize his secondary offerings were that good. I didn't realize he had a really nice curveball this game. His fastball too. What great sink on it, man. Like he is really pounding the zone and getting on top of the ball. Great sink on the fastball. This was the best I've ever saw Kyle Gibson. But Alfredo Simon was good again. Another start of 6+ innings. And he looked absolutely great. And, I know I was a big detractor of Alfredo Simon, say, well, he had a bad second half last year. And, looking at his numbers this year, can he sustain it? But looking at his BABIP isn't really, really high. It's a sustainable rate. And he's just getting it done. He's letting his defense do what he needs to do, and it's helping him out. And that is the big thing about having Jose Iglesias back this year. Even though he missed some time this week, Romai was in there because Iglesias was battling the groin injury, which he's fine, obviously, because he's been playing the last couple of days. But, having a Kinsler and Iglesias up the middle, and Cabrera's about an average or league average first baseman, which is no slouch. Having Iglesias and Kinsler up the middle is just done wonders for the staff's ERA. I mean, they have turned some double plays. I mean, there was a double play they turned, I think, yesterday or the day before, where Iglesias gets it going up the middle, flicks it with the glove, Kinsler grabs it with a bare hand and throws out the runner. It was against the Twins. I want to say it was yesterday or the day before, but nonetheless, it was an amazing play. You should check it out. It was one of the best double plays of the year, besides the one the Dodgers or the Marlins turned the other day with Hechavarria slides and throws and turns the double play with D. Gordon, which was filthy. So, I mean, just the work of those two guys alone, I think, is single-handedly what's really helped Simon's numbers out as well. I mean, a guy that gets as many ground balls as he does, but Simon's been striking out some guys too. He was absolutely great. So this game, though, we go to the 10th inning, and yet again, Ian Kinsler with his second walk-off on the week. Bloops a single into center field, and they won. And it was absolutely awesome. This was another low-score game, another 2-1 ball game. J.D. Martinez hit a home run in this game, and J.D. is finally starting to break out of it. He was looking abysmal. He was like an 0 for 25 at one point, but he had a couple of hits yesterday, a couple of hits the day before. He's got a homer. So we're finally starting to see some extra base pop out of J.D., and it was a home run in the opposite field too, which is absolutely awesome. It means he's getting his swing back when you can see him start putting the ball in the opposite field seats. So it's a great sign if you're the Tigers. But I mean, Kinsler, no home runs, but 2 walk-offs, baby. Winning the games in any way you need to do. So game 2 of the series, Ricky Nolasco going up against Kyle Obstein. And Kyle Obstein, after pitching 8 1/3 strong, or 7 1/3, 2/3 is really strong innings his last time out, the Twins knocked him around really, really good. He only goes 2 1/3, 6 earned runs. And Ricky Nolasco, his slider in this game, I'm like, where in the hell is this coming from? Like, since when did Ricky Nolasco can bring it like this? And because Ricky Nolasco is not that good of a pitcher. I mean, he just – it was once in a blue moon. I mean, Phil Hughes threw a complete game against the Tigers when he was with the Yankees, and it was his only complete game of the year. So, I mean, the Tigers, Ricky Nolasco just had their number that day. And Ricky Nolasco is a guy that really hasn't had much success against the Tigers. But, I mean, tip your cap to him. In this game, though, Castellano played a couple runs in this game. The Tigers had the bases loaded. And they had a couple of in the later innings, they had a couple of chances to get some to tie the game. But just super unclutch hitting. Strikeouts. Victor Martinez struck out with runners on base. He left a few guys on. Llanos played the only runs of the game as Cespedes struck out with a couple runners on. Yeah, it was a game of wasted opportunities. They had chances to come back and tie this game. They had the tying run at the plate once, with the bases loaded when it was 6-2. But they just, I don't know. It was a completely unclutch effort, and I think as soon as they got those 6 runs off of between Lobstein and Wilson, and Alex Wilson, let me give him a little bit of credit too. He's come up and done really good work out of the bullpen as a long man. He's done a really nice job of limiting the damage too. He had an outing a couple days ago where he went 3 innings and he was really good. Didn't allow an earned run, and he allowed an earned run last time up. But I mean, he's been a really good, valuable piece along, and so is Nesbitt. Nesbitt is finally, I think he's finally starting to leap Jabba on the depth chart in the bullpen. You know, as that guy that you can honestly look at, a legitimate eighth inning guy. You know, he's been in some tie ball games so far. He's been in ball games where they're only up by a run or down by a run, you know, try to keep it close. And Nesbitt's done really, really, really nice work keeping ball games close and coming out and getting big outs. So I think he's starting to jump Jabba. I think they've kind of pulled the reins back on Al Albuquerque as that eighth inning right-hander, you know, to get big outs. You know, since he's really struggled this year, I think he's leapfrogged him. And I think he's definitely leapfrogged Jabba. So he's turned blossoming into a nice eighth inning piece. And I like so far what Grezzolani and Alex Wilson's done too. So the bullpen, it's cost you some games this year. And it really hasn't had a shot to get exposed a lot, simply for the fact that you got Green, you know, giving you 8 innings the other night, and Sanchez, which we'll talk about here in a second, you know, pitching very well his last time out. You know, David Price is a whore, complete starts already this year. So it hasn't had a shot to get really exposed too much, even though there has been some clunkers, like obviously where you get 2 1/3. But for the most part, this bullpen, not great, according to ERA, which I'll agree with, and has done a little bit of smoke and mirrors. It's been better than last year, I think you can honestly say for sure, because Soria has been automatic. Like I said, Nesbitt has done a really nice job getting some big outs. You know, Alex Wilson, he's just your long man, but he's done a really good job putting out the fire. Grezzolani's gotten some really big outs as well. He's looking really good from the left side. I like what I see from him. You know, just Jabba, Al, and Blaine Hardy are your biggest 3 worries right now. And you definitely still need another bullpen piece, but there's definite, I mean, it's hard to not be as bad or to be worse than last year, let's be honest. But there's definite improvement so far in this bullpen this year. So I can honestly say that. Not great still as a group collectively, but you got arms down there this year that, you know, you're not running out, you know, Chad Smith. You know, you're like, who the fuck is that? And Luke Piconin and Jose Ortega late in games like last year where you needed some bullpen depth. So, yeah. Then the last game of the series was an absolute hit barrage. Miguel Cabrera goes deep twice in this game, sitting on career homers, 398, almost has the most all-time for Venezuelan or Latin-born player. Miggy Cabrera, man, surefire hoffer. This guy has just been beast. You know, he was struggling a little bit. He was like 0 for 13 2 games ago coming in, but he's woke up the last couple of days. You know, Miggy would. He hit some balls hard. Goes Oppo Taco on a ball yesterday. Hits one out in the left field. Absolutely moonshot. Kenzerom made a big first home run. Brian Holiday, who replaced, still isn't going to have an Eastern timetable on when his set return is to come back. He had like a loose bone in his body, but he got a third opinion, and the Tigers are going to go through with rehab and not go through with the surgery. He's just going to let it, you know, go through rehab, try to let it heal naturally, whatnot. But there's no timetable set thing for him to come back. Maybe the All-Star break, they're thinking. Who knows with rehab. But Brian Holiday and James McCann are your 2 catchers now. And Brian Holiday got the start yesterday, and he had a couple of big knocks. He had a double, ripped his second career home run. Kinsler had a couple of big hits. He had a really nice day yesterday. Anthony Ghost, 4 hits. He was absolutely awesome. Man, you want to talk about a trade that's benefited everyone? Devin Travis and Anthony Ghost. That's been an absolutely amazing trade for both these franchises because Ghost is getting a shot to have a lot more playing time. You know, worked with Wally Joyner in the offseason to help fix his swing. And Wally Joyner, man, he needs to get some credit because last year he had one of the best hitting teams in the big leagues. This year he's got one of the best hitting teams in the big leagues. You saw what he's helped done for JD Martinez. You saw what he's helped done for Anthony Ghost. I know you gotta give guys like Miggy and V-Mart some credit too, because I'm sure Ghost is picking their ears as well, as JD Martinez did. But I mean, you know, he specifically stated the work that he did with Wally Joyner, and it's paid huge dividends so far. Ghost has had a lot here. 4 hits yesterday. He's been absolutely outstanding. And him and Rajay, the speed on the bases, my goodness. It's just the whole dynamic defense and speed that, you know, the Tigers of a few years ago when you had your Princes and your V-Marts and Cabreras and Johnny Peraltas, you know, a big mashing team, Torrey Hunter. You didn't see much defense, but you're like, okay, whatever. You know, in Leland's philosophy, the 3-run homer, whatever, you could live with it. And it was cool seeing all those homers. But honestly, I'm a guy that I'd rather see Iggy and Kinsler turn into flashy double plays and ghost diving on balls that's like, how the hell did he run that down? And then you see him, stealing bases and playing small ball runs in late innings when you're not, when you're trying to get guy, not waiting for the guy to hit the 3-run shot when you need the runs. You can manufacture different ways, and you see solid defense and guys with good throwing arms in the outfield. I mean, Cespedes has prevented so many doubles this year. It's not even funny, just for the fact that his arm is so good. Guys don't want to test it. Just watching him do that. I'd rather see that kind of baseball than the 3-run homer ball. That's just more an exciting brand. I know people are more of an offensive guy, more offensive people. I'm more of a defense and pitching kind of guy. I enjoy watching those 2-1 games because the runs come at such a premium. The scoring them is so much more exciting. And you're just on the edge of your seat more. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like watching the Tigers, drop nearly 20 hits on the Twins yesterday because it's an easy game. You have no nervousness, whatever. You got the game in the bag. Sanchez comes out, pitches amazing droughts, 8 innings pitched, dominated the Twins after this start out. And it's fun to watch. But when you get those games like, when you get that 2-1 game where Kinsler walks off on Pinto because, he gets that bunt and goes, someone with speed. You don't got, Johnny Peralta, who you got to go hit to. I mean, say it was Johnny Peralta who threw that ball. He's probably not scoring, because he's slow. He probably doesn't get a second. You got someone with like Ghost. It's just like you get that excitement factor for me. I don't know. That's just me. But anyways, moving on, they're still trailing the Royals in the standing. That was a great series with the Royals. It sucks they don't play them again till August. They had a chance to take the series. They didn't do what they needed to do with that bases loaded twice. The Twins have been a great team the last couple of weeks. Paul Molitor's got this team playing really good. Torrey Hunter had a home run this series. When the Tigers have handled him well, he only had 2 hits. He only has 2 or 3 hits against the Tigers all year so far. They've handled him really well. But the Twins, their Ozier's been heating up. Kenny Vargas been heating up. Aaron Hicks, man, that kid can play some center field too. He robbed Miggy of a double for sure. But the Tigers have handled the Twins. The Twins can beat people in the division, but they can't beat the Tigers. The Tigers have absolutely destroyed them, and they were hot coming into this series too, and they handled them rather easily. Besides the game 2, Ricky Nolasco destroying the Tigers. So this upcoming week, they travel to St. Louis. Awesome. It's a battle of 2006. It's a battle of 1968 and a battle of 1934. The Gas House Game boys. And I love when they play St. Louis. St. Louis, man, I have a lot of favorite teams in the baseball. I love the Tigers are my absolute favorite, obviously. But there's teams I try to watch every night on my MLB TV. I watch the Dodgers every night. Always watch the Angels. I wear my Angels, some Angels. Watch the Angels. I like watching for some reason, I like watching the Giants. I don't know why. I hate that team, but I watch them. I like watching the Nationals. I always watch the Cubbies because they're fun to watch. They're a fun team to watch. But I like watching the Cardinals too. The Cardinals, man, just have so many players I just love. I absolutely love them. Matt Carpenter is like, if I could be a baseball player, I want to be Matt Carpenter. I don't know why. Like, okay, Mike Trout, I lied. Mike Trout, I want to be Mike Trout if I could be a baseball player because everyone knows my big man crush on Mike Trout. But I mean, like, if I could just make a team full of baseball players, it's fucking Matt Carpenter, man. The guy is just like, he's just gritty. He takes the extra base. He's always dirty. He's, making great plays at third. He's like, he's really brought more power into his game this year. He's just like that gritty guy. He's really good at the plate. Just a great hitter. Watches a lot of pitches. Really makes pitches work. He's an outstanding leadoff hitter. Doesn't strike out a lot. He's got pop. A good defensive player. He's just a ball player, man. I like Matt Carpenter so much. And then you look at guys like Michael Wacha, Yadier Molina, get to see Johnny Peralta again. Matt Holliday is just a guy that doesn't get enough credit for being as good a hitter as he is. Matt Holliday is an outstanding hitter. I like Matt Adams, Colton Wong, he hasn't been amazing this year. I still like what he brings. You got guys like Peter Borges, who's an outstanding center fielder, and John Jay. I absolutely love the Cardinals, man. I like watching them a lot, and they're a squad I'm really excited to watch. You know, I was never really bitter at the Cardinals like I was at the Giants after they swept the Tigers in 12 and 06. But man, I love me some Cardinals, so I'm really pumped for this series. It's a short 3-game road trip. It's Shane Green is showing the slab Martinez, another player I really like. This kid, nasty stuff. You know, he's inconsistent with throwing strikes, but good stuff. Throws hard, great slide piece, and he was really a pivotal piece for the Cardinals bullpen a couple years back against the Red Sox. That's for sure. And then Saturday, Price goes up against Lions, and then Sunday, Simon goes up against Lance Lynn, and everyone needs to go on Fangraphs. I know I promote them every single time I do a video, but it's because they're that good. Go look at the article about how Lance Lynn is Max Scherzer. They compare those two guys through their first 4 years of starting and how their K rates rise and how their walk rates went down and their strikeout percentage was through inning by innings through the first 4 seasons. My goodness, Lance Lynn, no joke, because they're talking about how Lance Lynn's starting to take that ace status, step up to ace status, is no joke. Eerily similar to Max Scherzer through his first 4 innings pitch. I'll leave the article in the description. It won't be in there right away, but if you're watching this video a couple days after upload, it'll be down there. Read that article about how Lance Lynn is Max Scherzer. It is scary. And then they come home to face the Milwaukee Brewers, who've been playing better since they fired Ron Renicky. Lobstein goes up against Mike Fiers. Anibal Sanchez goes up against Jimmy Nelson. And then Shane Green goes up against Kyle Loesch. Over-under for home runs given up by Kyle Loesch this year, or this game. Loesch has already given up 10 home runs. Chris Bryant got him for his first one. I say the Tigers hit 3 home runs this game off Kyle Loesch because Kyle Loesch cannot he's a go-for-ball kind of guy. So Green goes in as Kyle Loesch, and then they finish out the week by welcoming Houston. David Price goes up against Scott Feldman, and then Alfredo Simon goes up against. So I'll be back next Friday, guys. Longer videos are here to stay. I know. I'm glad you guys can like these longer videos. I like doing these longer videos. I like talking a lot longer. I like getting more in depth and whatnot and everything else. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's all I got for you guys today. I will see you next week. Go Tigers, and great week this week. You got the Cards. Come on, you got to watch that. The Brew Crew, you get to see, you know, Brian Braun, I guess. I mean, I like Jimmy Nelson. So, I mean, okay, you got that. So maybe the Brewers aren't the biggest draw. And then the Houston Astros. I'm pumped for that series. George Springer, Jose Altuve, Hugh. Biggest bullpen improvement. Last year, their bullpen ERA was over 4. This year, it's sitting at 2.10. You need to take some notes from Jeff Luno there, Dave Dombrowski. So have a good one, guys. See you next week.